tell us when you're ready.
This is another one of our good racing birds. It's a check and white cock. He's a 2-year-old. There's two going in Chris's sale, exactly the same way bred as this pigeon. This cock, he actually won money in the Cockfield Breeder Buyer. I'm not sure if he was second, £600 as a young bird. Then last year he was first club out in Newark, well up in the Federation. He was 6th Western Amalgamation out of Maidstone 1. He was 35th Amalgamation out of one of the other Maidstones, but don't know if he's called the Unlucky Cock. We call him Dapper Dan. He came back last year after the second Maidstone with half a tail in, so he never got raced anymore for 6 weeks, and then he came out and won. This year he was on the clock on the Federation sheet out of the third race, and then a couple of weeks later exactly the same, he come back with 3 tail feathers missing, so we never raced him again a couple of weeks. He was first club, third fed, third Western Amalgamation out of the last Maidstone race. We were first and second club 1 week, both the birds come together. He happened to be second on the clock. He's a very prominent racer, and I think he's one what I've got my eye on. Once again, he's out of the Little Joe pigeon. He's a grandson of Little Joe, who I keep saying has been the predominant force in the loft ever since we got the Rudolph pigeons. That's another one of our good racers. Getting on in the mould there. On all that one.
You were asking about feed, Pat. Just run over that again for feeding, what you asked Richard.
So, you come back on Saturday from the race.
Yeah. And we feed them diet 2000 when they come back. Just with it being small grain so they can easily digest it. They'll only get a small amount. Then later in the evening we feed them 50% diet 2000 and either breed and wean or beans. If it's been an easy race, they'll have the diet 2000 and the breed and wean, which is normally from buyers. So you're putting the fats and the protein into them straight away. If it's been, or should I say, if it's been a hard race, that's what they'll get. If it's been an easy race, we'll just put them straight back onto the beans in the evening.
100% beans.
100% beans. And then following on from that, the following day, the birds don't get out on a Sunday morning. I let them out on a Sunday night with a view just to let them do what they want, but they go out, the doors are shut, and I might have them out an hour and they just up and down, clapping about.
Is this for the cocks and your hen you were doing?
No, the cocks, once they drop, will allow them to fly up and down. The hens, once the hens drop, they go straight into the loft and either pushed into the aviary.
But they still go out the same?
They still go out the same.
As the cocks?
Yeah, yeah.
And then Monday morning?
And then Monday morning, as I say, we start with a 30-minute exercise. Once the birds has dropped, once again, they'll be out another half an hour or 45 minutes to do whatever they want, but the doors closed. We find if you leave the doors open, the pigeons are more interested, they just want to go in the loft, and odd ones will come and flap about. But if you shut the doors so they can drop on the front, they up and down off the veranda and onto the fence. Once again, the feed is 100% new farm beans in the hoppers as described, only feeding a handful at a time until they get what they want. But when leaving the loft, there's always corn in front of them. Exactly the same procedure on a Monday night, 30 minutes exercise, allowed to do what they want for a good 30 minutes, exactly the same feed procedure. Tuesday, 35 minutes in the morning, 35 minutes in an evening, exactly the same, fed new farm beans in the hoppers 100%. Wednesday morning, 40 minutes we up to now on a Wednesday, same procedure. I've got plenty of time, I let the birds out and then they can do what they want for half an hour as well. Same feed procedure, new beans in the hopper. Wednesday night is the only night we train the pigeons. Years ago, and with equal success, we would train the pigeons every night, or wherever I was working, the pigeons would go with me, being self-employed, north, south, east or west. Didn't bother me one little bit, or my brother. But now we've found, obviously, the only disadvantage with training pigeons more is that if they get bashed or they hit the wires or there is hawks on the line of flight. We haven't had any problem with hawks here. We're very fortunate. We have a sparrowhawk comes over here every day, but he just dives into the bushes for the little bird, so we've been lucky that way. But we found now by training them just once a week, out of a 25-mile training toss, the pigeons are coming just as well. So there's no need for us to train them day, morning and night. Wednesday night, that's when the feeding changes for our loft. We have 3 brands of corn which we mix together, Widowwood mixes. One is the Byers Olympiad 49, which is a bit of a heavier mix because it's got more maples in it. The Versal Lager Superstar, and also the Dynamic mix from Van Roby's. Them's the 3 corns what we've chose. There's plenty of corns out there, and that is when they go on to the full race mix on a Wednesday evening. After they've finished eating on a Wednesday, what I do, they get a handful of sunflower hearts and hemp. We'll put that in the trough. Even though they've ate as much as they want, the pigeons will still come down and eat that. On a Thursday, they get 45 minutes exercising, morning and evening, and exactly the same feed procedure. The full race mix as much as they want to eat. Always just having a little bit of corn in the trough so they can pick at it. On the Thursday night, it's the same. Once they've finished feeding, they get a handful of sunflower hearts and hemp mixed together. Friday, the birds go out for a 20-minute exercise. As soon as they drop, I push the birds out and I shut the doors and I put the baths out. The only day they get a bath is on a Friday morning, and then I get the birds back in and they're fed as much as they want. The troughs is here till 4 o'clock. I'll come down and take them out, and I'll give them a small amount of seed just so that they'll eat that, and then they normally have a drink. What we do on a Saturday in the water, we just put electrolytes in, or the rebuild from Danny Ensign, the Pigeon Vitality product. On a Sunday, it's natural line in the water. The all natural products what we're using. On a Monday, they'll have natural line in the water. So for 2 days running, they'll have natural line. That's a Sunday and a Monday. On a Tuesday, in the water, we put the Bronco Plus, which is another Vitality product for respiratory. It's a natural product once again, so they'll get that. But on the corn, on the Tuesday feed, we use the Trico powder, which is the Trico powder, which is once again, it's a natural product from the Vitality. That goes on the corn, and we just put a bit of oil on to dampen the corn. I mix it on a morning and let it dry, and that's obviously to stop the canker problems. That's the Bronco Plus what goes in the water on a Tuesday. On a Wednesday in the water, we have the product from Chris Gibson, the Fortitude. You can put it on the corn, but we tend to just put it in the water. Once again, it's got all the elements, everything is in that product. So it's mainly all vitamins what we're giving them. On a Thursday, it's another vitamin, Cyto Boost. So they've got something basically in the water every day, but they're all just natural products. Friday is clean water. Also, what I do with the cocks is every feed. I haven't got any in hand there. These cocks on a Sunday, you get 2 peanuts, and I put them on the box there. Every night, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and the pigeons is there waiting. It's just a bit of a tidbit, and obviously keeps the pigeons calm and quiet. Most of the pigeons are good temperament in the loft, but I don't give them any more than that. I found I'll give it another one or another one, it hasn't done any good. So it's just an incentive for them in the box, and just a bit of a tidbit, but they get 2 peanuts every day. My brother with the hens, it's virtually exactly the same, the feeding system, where he'll just put a handful of peanuts in the trough amongst the hens.
Do you ever get problems when you let your pigeons out, especially hens in the morning? If you want them to fly 30 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever, do you ever get any problem with is maybe 5 or 6 are missing for an hour or two?
Well, what we do on a morning, I'm first one down, and what I do, the hens, there's a cup full of beans put in the trough, and then they push through into the aviary where we've got a drinker and the hens is in there all day, so they're actually hungry. They've been fed, they're not hungry, and when our lad comes and lets them out, the pigeons will sometimes disappear for half an hour, but we never really have the problem where they'll disappear for an hour and a half or anything like that.
Right.
And after 45 minutes, we'll get the hen birds in. Once the hens drop into that loft there, they'll be just fed a small tidbit, and then they push through into the aviary. So they're in that aviary virtually, if they're not out exercising during the day, they sat in that aviary all the time.
And
then
it's the same with your cocks then, because, you know, once you get well into the season, cocks, they sort of split up and go everywhere into little pikes, don't they?
these
Yeah,
fly,
do you ever-
these fly in batches, to be totally fair.
But do you ever get any that'll bugger off and be missing for an hour or so?
Only this one, this Mealy in here.
Right.
Only that one,
Yeah.
believe it or not. But the others, they'll disappear and they'll come back, but they're never away for more than 5 minutes out of sight.
Right.
But when they're out exercising, they are putting the work and effort in. But to be honest, I don't think pigeons need to fly an hour like some people. They flagging them and this, that and the other. And even early in the season, when it's still cold and the temperature can change, I think that's maybe the downfall to some members. You see them all around here, they'll have the flags up 4 weeks before racing in cold temperatures, you know, flagging them for an hour, and then obviously once you get into the season the pigeons is finished. These pigeons don't get any more than 45 minutes forced flying. When they go out, they are forced, the doors are shut and the flags is up. They've got to fly.
And are they sort of in winning form right from the first race, or does it take a race or two to get them into that winning
Right
form?
from the first race.
From the word,
I
from
think
go?
we've topped the Fed 4 or 5 times out of the last 5 years from the first race and topped the Fed at the last race. The pigeons have never gone off form, they've won from start to finish.
So they're topping Fed, coming back to youngsters then, or sitting out?
Where the cocks aren't paired up. These cocks are flown with yes, the very first race of the season, they'll go sit in a
They're
big
on
young
they're on a
one,
big youngster.
yeah, ready for leaving the nest, or the hen may have laid. Our thought in doing that is it's a long season, and you want the motivation part of trying to keep them occupied and motivated.
So some of them cocks will be on a big youngster.
Most of them.
Some of them will be on the youngster not so big.
Well, we always pair up around February the 12th, and depending on when your first race is, most of them are all going either driving with a big youngster,
Yeah.
or the hen may have laid.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then when they come back, we'll split everything.
So what sort of condition would the hens have to be in not to go? Obviously, if she's egging, she's got an egg. You're not going to send
We're
her.
not going to send her.
But if she's got 2 eggs,
If she's got 2 eggs, or
Wh-
got a
wh-
big
wh-
young one,
yeah, when would she have laid that second egg?
well, she'd probably have laid that second egg on the Tuesday.
Right. So let's
She'll
say
be sitting 2 or 3 days on an egg.
let's say she lays a second egg on usually around 2 o'clock when they lay that second egg. Would you send her then?
If it was on a Wednesday, we'd still send it.
But not Thursday.
Not a Thursday. It's maybe took too much out of their
Yeah.
pigeon.
Yeah.
But as I say, these cocks has flown full widowwood all through the season. And what I do with the cockbirds on a Friday night, and I do this for the first 4 races. 1 week I'll come in, that gate shut, I'll put the hen in that side. The following week I'll reverse it.
What, the cock in there
Yeah,
and the hen loose?
Yeah, so I'm reversing it.
Oh, no contact?
There's no contact at all until they come back from the race on a Saturday.
Yeah.
And I don't start putting any nest balls in till the 5th race. So I'm trying to prolong
The fifth race?
the 5th race.
Okay.
There might be an odd cock or an odd hen. What we say, oh, I fancy that hen this week. You know, it showed something different. So we'll maybe give them a ball. But in general, these will not get our national race is normally the 6th race of the season. So we want to win every week, don't get me wrong, but you want to be winning at the nationals. That's
where you pull up
that's what
stops
we
at.
try to do.
Yeah, that's where you pull up
Yeah.
stops at.
So, and even that will continue where most weeks The hen will be in one side and the cock will be in the other.
And is there never any contact then all season?
Not just for the first few, no, just for the first few races,
yeah,
the
right,
first
okay.
4 races.
Yeah,
There's no contact, only till they come back on the Saturday. And sometimes when the nest balls go in, there'll be no straw. And then the next time I put the nest balls in, it'll be full of straw. And sometimes I just open the door and I just let them do whatever they want to do for a full half an hour. If they want to tread them, they want to tread them.
And you say you let them pair together as the season after a few races?
Not the hen, not the cockbirds. Well, yes, I let them pair like on a Friday night before basketing. I'll allow them to tread each.
But you say, I think you said earlier on, you let some actually pair together and go down on eggs.
The hens,
It's
only
just
the
the
hen-
hens?
only the hens, and that'll not be after they've had 8 races. Obviously, by then the hens are maybe getting sick. So, as an extra motivation for the last 5 old bird races, we'll time it to get them on eggs and a youngster for the very last race. And we've always had success with that.
Right.
We've topped the amalgamation, them sitting eggs.
So if she's only young at that race then, she's going to be sitting a couple of races before that?
Oh yes, we'll
And you still send them in that condition?
Yes.
Yeah.
If they've
Okay.
laid the second egg on the Wednesday,
Yeah.
we'll send them on a Friday.
They go no matter what?
They'll go no matter what.
Okay.
Because we'd probably only be racing at that point, that particular race, the way we set them up from Leicester or Hunting, which is 145 mile to
And them
170.
hens, sorry, natural hens.
The
aren't
natural
they?
hens
And
then.
you've done well with them.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Because a lot of people say once you've paired them up, forget it, it's all over.
No, some of our best performances. These cocks have flown by far better as a team, but our best performance, the red cock was exceptional. But we've had fantastic. Mojo, obviously, bird of the year in the amalgamation last year. She went to the last race when we were second and third amalgamation, sitting a youngster. This year, when she topped the amalgamation from Eastbourne, then was a round of eggs what she was sitting on, about 10 days. No, we've had.
But you don't allow these widower cocks
No.
to sit there. They're on widowwood until the bitter end.
They're on Widowwood till the bitter end, and I'll just once the last race is over, all the cockbirds get paired up, so that they go down and around the youngsters, just as a treat for them.
Yeah.
So, and the hens are the same. We'll only train the hens exactly the same as we do with the cocks.
How many trusses before the first race?
About 6,
Right.
no more than 6, because we've
From your 20-mile point?
during the winter months, these pigeons will be out every day or every Sunday, every other day. We'll let this section out one day, we'll let those out one day,
So typically now at this time of year, how often would a section be out?
they'll be out every other day, so if they want to get a bath, we try and get
Yeah.
as many baths in them as possible. But during the winter months, we keep pigeons because we like them and we like to see them flying about. As I said to you before, we're very fortunate. We don't have any problems
Well,
with
that's
the
it.
hawks.
Yeah. A lot of people
So,
can't do that because of the
no.
hawk problem.
Do you
yeah.
think though, Richard, and I've been to a few good lofts what do the same, and they do it partly because they believe it helps with the wing lock.
The wing lock. Well, that's what
Yeah,
we.
They're active
Yeah.
a couple of times a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever had
Yeah.
any problems with that?
We have had a couple of problems with it, but it's always been the same family, like from the same line of pigeon. Funny enough,
What do you think it is then? I mean, some people
I think
say
it's maybe whether
some
it's-
people say it's paratyphoid, don't they?
whether it's a genetic in their, it's just like human beings. I mean, I've got a bad back at the moment. My brother has a bad back as well. Is it something hereditary? What's being passed on? Because we haven't done anything different, and it's just probably the same with birds.
Yeah. Yeah, I think maybe it's to do with a long layoff in the winter because most
Yeah.
people don't have the pigeons out in the winter, and then they come out in spring and
Well, obviously, at this moment in time now, I'm sort of semi-retired. But if you go back 10 years when I worked full time and everything, or in the last 5 years, obviously we didn't let my brother. He's retired now, but 10 years, 15 years ago, you still had pigeons with these problems. But we were working full time, so our pigeons never got out during the week then. But we've always let them out on a weekend, because in them days, that was the only opportunity we could clean out. where now, you know, we've got
In
the
winter time, yeah.
Yeah,
Same
yeah.
as me and my brother.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
weekends when
Yeah.
we weren't working.
Yeah, that seems to be the thing. The people who have them out during the winter don't seem to suffer from wing lock.
No, well, ours is definitely out. These were out yesterday for a bath. At the moment, the hens haven't been out all week because we've transferred all the young hens into the racing loft and just let them get used to the loft. Come next week, then we'll be out and to get a bath and everything, you know.
Interesting.